The Singapore Police Force is the Republic's main police agency tasked with maintaining law and order in the island's city-state. Formerly known as the Republic of Singapore Police, it has grown from an 11-man organisation to a 38,587-strong force. Singapore has been ranked consistently in the top 5 positions in the Global Competitiveness Report in terms of its reliability of police services. The organisational structure of the SPF is split between the staff and line functions, roughly modelled after the military. There are currently 14 staff departments, 3 specialist staff departments and 15 specialist and line units. Their headquarters is located in a block at New Phoenix Park in Novena, adjacent to a twin block occupied by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Colonial history. The Singapore Police Force has a heritage almost as old as that of modern Singapore, having been formed in 1819 with a skeleton force of 11 men under the command of Francis James Bernard, son-in-law of William Farquhar, and kept in operation with a monthly budget of $300. Manpower constraints meant that the men had to perform a wide range of roles, and required the help of headmen amongst the various ethnic communities to maintain orderliness on the streets, all the more possible as the communities lived in segregated areas around the city. This partnership with the community was in line with Sir Stamford Raffles' vision of a thriving colony largely self-regulated by local social structures, with the British masters administrating it via indirect rule. The large influx of migrants from China, however, began to test this system when the hands-off approach by the British allowed secret societies in Singapore to thrive. Although originally formed with legal intentions of community bonding and the provision of assistance to fellow migrants, these societies gradually became influential, competitive, and increasingly engaged in illegal activity including monetary extortion from the masses, the operation of gambling dens, and the smuggling of illegal goods on top of more legal commercial operations to meet their financial needs. Competition gradually heated up between large rival factions, such as that between the larger Gi Hin Kongsi, the Gi Hoc Kongsi and the Hai San Kongsi. Murders, mass riots, kidnappings, arson and other serious crimes became commonplace in the next 4 decades since the colony's founding. Faced with violent acts of crime which may involve thousands, such as the funeral riots of 1846 involving 9,000 members from the Gi Hin and Gi Hoc secret societies, the police force was woefully incapable of bringing the situation under control, and often had to call on the army for assistance. The escalating number of serious crimes prompted the need for stronger legislation to deter would-be criminals. Singapore's first executions were thus held in the wake of the first criminal session in June 1828, when a Chinese and Indian were found guilty and convicted for murder. Headed by Europeans and predominantly staffed by Malay and Indian officers, the force had little Chinese representation as the military and policing professionals were traditionally shunned by the Chinese community, which therefore impaired policing efforts amongst the large Chinese populace. In 1843, the force comprised a sitting magistrate doubling up as a superintendent, 3 European constables and an assistant native constable, 14 officers and 110 policemen. With a total strength of no more than 150 men, the police was compelled to avoid direct intervention in these mass acts of violence, else risking almost total annihilation. A repeat of this scenario occurred in 1851, when lingering displeasure against Roman Catholic ethnic Chinese erupted into major rioting leaving over 500 Chinese dead. The army was called in again, although it involved having to induct Indian convicts into military service almost overnight. In 1854, 12 consecutive days of violence sparked by a dispute between the Hokkiens and Teochews disrupted trade. This particular incident led to the formation of the military's Singapore Rifle Corps on July 8, 1854, the earliest predecessor of the Singapore Armed Forces People's Defence Force today. Criminal violence was not merely in the domain of the ethnic Chinese, however. Rivalries between Malay princes and communities also often result in acts of violence, which prompted the passing of Singapore's first arms law in March 1823 restricting the right to bear arms to 24 of the Malay Sultan's followers. Nearly 2 centuries later, these anti-arms laws continued to be strictly enforced, resulting in a society relatively free from firearms-related criminal offences. Modern day Crime rates in Singapore are consistently low. Organisational structure equals police headquarters equals staff departments equals specialist staff departments equals specialist and line units equals. The divisions are also named after NATO phonetic alphabet. These include A. Central Police Division, B. Topeo Police Division a Euro C, Geelong Police Division a Euro D, Clementi Police Division, E. Tangling Police Division, F. Ang Mo Kio Police Division, G. Bedok Police Division, J. Jurong Police Division. Finances. The Singapore Police Force receives the highest budget allocation annually as compared to the various departments of the Ministry of Home Affairs, typically accounting for about 50% of its annual budget. For the fiscal year of 2013, 3.89 billion Singapore dollars was budgeted to the MHA, of which 47.8%, or 1.86 billion Singapore dollars was allocated for the police program. Actual expenses in the 2013 fiscal year was 2.04 billion Singapore dollars, of which 1.88 billion Singapore dollars was spent on operating expenditure and 159.1 million Singapore dollars on development expenditure. Manpower costs amounting to 1.16 billion Singapore dollars continue to dominate the SPF's expenditure, accounting for 61.7% of its operating expenditure and 56.9% of total expenditure in FY 2013. The latest budget for fiscal year 2015, 2.47 billion Singapore dollars was allocated to the police program, or 49.5% of MHA's total budget of 5 billion Singapore dollars. This includes 2.26 billion Singapore dollars for operating expenditure and $210.93 million for development expenditure. The main development expenditures expected in FY 2015 included the construction of new buildings such as the Woodlands Police Divisional Headquarters as well as the acquisition of new patrol craft for the Police Coast Guard and the installation of police cameras at more HDB blocks and multi-story car parks. Manpower. As of March 31, 2014, the total strength of the force stands at 41,599, of which 15,031 are full-time staff. Manpower trends in recent years are as follows. Regulars, or uniformed, full-time officers, constitute about 20% of the police's total workforce and number approximately 8,000 in strength. Basic entry requirements for police officers include normal fitness levels, good eyesight, and at least 5 passes in the GCE ordinary level or an NITEC from the Institute of Technical Education, although those with lower qualifications may still be considered. Those joining the senior police officers require a basic degree from a recognized university. Alternatively, police officers from the junior ranks may also be considered for promotion into the senior ranks. Officers serving in the force as national servicemen are also regularly considered for absorption into the regular scheme. Basic training for all officers are conducted at the Home Team Academy, under the purview of the Police Training Command. It takes about 6 months and 9 months to train a new police officer and senior police officer respectively. As is the case with many other civil service positions in Singapore, the salaries of police officers are reviewed in accordance to market rates. Salaries are kept competitive as part of anti-corruption measures. Gross starting salaries for police officers may range from 1,820 Singapore dollars to 2,480 Singapore dollars, and that of senior police officers from 3,400 Singapore dollars to 4,770 Singapore dollars, depending on entry qualifications, relevant useful work experiences and national service. Police officers commence their careers as sergeants or corporals, while senior police officers start as either assistant superintendents of police or inspectors. Reviews of an officer's performance for promotion consideration are conducted annually. Interviews conducted for promotion to certain ranks were phased out since 1995. It takes approximately 5 years for a police officer to be promoted to the next rank, although the system allows for accelerated promotion for outstanding officers. While joining the force as a career is generally considered a respectable decision in contemporary Singapore, support from the ethnic Malay community has been traditionally stronger due to less social stigma attached to the profession. Traditionally, Chinese culture has eschewed careers in uniformed positions, resulting in a force dominated by non-Chinese officers for most of the force's early history. National servicemen also contribute a higher proportion of ethnic Malays in the force. The current ethnic profile of the force continues to have a significantly higher proportion of ethnic minorities compared to the national ethnic profile, although such an outcome is related to operational demands. Police resources are typically deployed with a diverse ethnic mix to decrease communication problems while attending to incidents in ethnically diverse Singapore. Competition in the employment market, usually heating up during economic boom times, occasionally depressed the number of police recruits as well as its existing ranks. A series of major incidents in 2008 affecting agencies of the Home Affairs Ministry has led to the ministry conducting a study which concluded that there is a shortage of officers, resulting in officers being overstretched, strained and overstressed. In the police force, it was admitted that the recruitment and retention of non-graduate police officers has been adversely affected by the tighter labour market, with resignation rates increasing by 50% between 2004 and 2007. Recruitment figures, while remaining relatively stable, has been unable to address the higher demands placed on the force. Various measures were thus taken in response, including an increase in starting salaries, sign-on bonuses for senior police officers, and retention bonuses of up to 30,000 Singapore dollars for non-graduate police officers in a bid to encourage them to stay for at least 8 years, over the 5 years where many leave at the end of their service bonds. Police national servicemen While national service was introduced in 1967 in Singapore, it was solely geared towards the building up of the Singapore Armed Forces. There was little urgency in the police force to increase its manpower strength until the Ludio incident in 1974 demonstrated the need for additional trained reserve officers who can be called up at short notice in the event of an emergency. National service was thus extended to the Singapore Police Force in 1975, with the primary aim of guarding key installations and to act as a reserve unit. Subsequent expansion of the scheme, changing security needs, and the trend in outsourcing installation protection has expanded their role to more functions, which may range from administration, investigation to frontline policing alongside their regular counterparts. Volunteers Formed in 1946, the Volunteer Special Constabulary is an important component of the Singapore Police Force, contributing more than 50 years of volunteer service to the nation. The VSC is composed of volunteers from all walks of life in Singapore, from businessmen to blue-collar executives to even bus captains, bonded with the same aspiration to serve the nation by complementing the Singapore police force. They are vested with equal powers of a police officer to enforce law and order in Singapore. VSC officers don the same police uniform and patrol the streets, participate in anti-drug operations and sometimes even high-speed sea chases. Previously headquartered at the Tong Senator Street Police Station and Topeo Police Station, it relocated to the new police cantonment complex in year 2000. Civilian staff Civilian staff in the police force are deployed in areas such as technology, logistics, human resource and administrative and finance services as well as investigation, planning and intelligence. The civilian staff schemes falls under the General Civil Service schemes managed by the Public Service Division. These schemes include, Commercial Affairs Officer Scheme for Accountancy, Law, Business Administration, Business or Economics degree holders, Commercial Affairs Officer. Home Team Specialist Scheme for degree and diploma holders, Home Team Specialist. Home Affairs Senior Executive Scheme for degree holders, Management Executive. Management Support Scheme for diploma holders and below, Management Support Officer, Corporate Support Officer. Technical Support Scheme for diploma holders and below, Technical Support Officer. The civilization of non-core police functions have accelerated over the years in order to free up additional manpower for redeployment into police divisions. Other changes include the deployment of contract staff through organizations such as Ministry of Finance's Vital.org for administrative staff and partners such as Singapore Technologies and Cybersecurity Agency for technical support. Equal staff welfare equals, Aquatic Club, Home United Basketball Club, Home United Football Club, JOM, Clubhouse for Police Officers, Polo Cooperative Society Limited, Police Sports Association, Police Welfare Division, Senior Police Officers Mess, Singapore Police Cooperative Society Limited. Uniforms. Dark blue is the organisational colour of the Singapore Police Force, and has remained so continuously since 1969, although the first police uniforms introduced in 1856 were also in the same colour. On July 1, 1969, Dacron blue made a comeback to the uniform with a force-wide change away from khaki overnight, in part to coincide with Singapore's 150th anniversary since its founding in 1819. The new uniform comprises a dark blue peak cap, shirt, trousers, black belt, shoes and socks, and coded whistle lanyard in blue and white. 3 large and 4 small metal buttons, metal collar badges, and a metal cap badge are affixed, and a black plastic name tag completes the uniform. Metallic ranks, if any, are fixed to the sleeve or on the shoulders for senior officers. The lanyard was changed to a metal chain in 1972, and in 1985, the material of the uniform was changed from 75% polyester 25% cotton to 100% polyester for ease of daily maintenance. Derivatives of the standard blue uniform was adopted for specialized forces and for all officers in various occasions, which calls for more formal or casual attire. The Traffic Police Department was amongst the few to move away from the all-blue attire, adopting a short-sleeved white tunic, dark blue breeches, a black leather Sam Browne belt, and riding boots for its officers performing mobile squad duties. A white crash helmet is worn when on the move, while a new dark blue jockey cap with checkered white and dark blue patterns around its circumference is worn when convenient while performing static duty. Members of the Vigilante Corps are also attired by a white short-sleeved top similar in design to the dark blue version for normal officers, gold-colored buttons and badges, and a dark blue beret in place of the peak cap. Combat uniforms has also been adopted for specialist units such as those from the Special Operations Command and the Police Coast Guard, collectively known as the No. 4 uniforms. These involve the replacement of metal buttons with sewn-on plastic ones, the avoidance of all other metallic accoutrements which are deemed potentially hazardous to the officer or to others, and the use of long-sleeved shirts. SOC officers wear combat boots while officers in PCG use lace-up leather shoes with non-slip soles. These units also tend to adopt the beret as their headgear, although PCG officers use the baseball cap while on operational duties. There was no major change to the uniform since then, except for the adoption of embroidered shoulder ranks and badges for all ranks in the 1990s. Other changes are less distinct, such as the upgrading of shoes used, the change of the belt material and belt buckle to one including the police crest, and the replacement of the peak cap with a baseball cap for NPC officers on frontline duty. In 2008 to 2009, the black engraved plastic namtags was changed to the black epoxy-coated namtags with the home team badge on the left. Velcro backing is optional. The previous black engraved plastic namtags is still in use by the National Police Cadet Corps. All officers under the home team are issued with these epoxy namtags. Ranks. A standard rank structure is used throughout the police force, although some ranks may be unique to specific organizations. These ranks are denoted where applicable in the following list, which lists them in ascending seniority. Police officers equals, the rank of corporal was abolished in 1972, but reinstated in 1976. In 1997, all ranks were shifted from the sleeves to the epaulettes, except for the Gurkha contingent. Also in the same year, the station inspector rank was changed from collar pips to epaulettes with a new design similar to that of the SAF warrant officers, and the rank of senior station inspector was introduced. In 1998, the senior station inspector rank was introduced, and changes were made to the SI, SSI, and SSI-2 rank designs. The rank of lance corporal was abolished in 2002. The 2006, the Gurkha contingent adopted embroidered ranks as part of an overhaul of its combat dress, but are worn on the right front pocket. Senior police officers equals. Weapons. Police officers in the various divisions are armed when conducting regular uniformed patrols and plainclothes duties. Officers from different units are issued with different weapons. The standard layout of a regular right-handed officer's duty belt ops kit consists of the followings in a clockwise direction. 1. Ammunition pouch with speed loader containing 5 rounds of .38 special PMC cartridges. 2. Taurus Model 85, 3-inch barrel revolver with 5 rounds of .38 special PMC cartridges. 3. A set of Smith & Wesson handcuffs. 4. Monadnock Prairie 21T baton ASP expandable baton. 5. Motorola MTP 6550 portable radio set. 6. X26 taser, the 5-shot .38 Taurus Model 85 with 3-inch barrel featuring a laser sight by Crimson Trace is the standard issued sidearm of the Singapore Police Force with 10 rounds of ammunition. For less than lethal option, most policemen are issued a Monadnock Prairie 21 side-handle baton to enhance their defensive capabilities. Expandable batons are used by some units such as Security Command, and the Sabre Red Pepper spray canisters are exclusively equipped to the officers of Police Coast Guard and Police Tactical Unit. A pair of handcuffs is issued to the officers as restraints. The Taser X26 stun gun is part of the officer equipment, which provides another non-lethal means of subduing suspects. Despite some safety concerns due to incidents experienced by foreign police forces, the weapon was deemed suitable for use by trained personnel, and was rolled out across other NPCs. Heckler and Koch USP pistols are known to be used by the Special Operations Command, Police Tactical Unit, Criminal Investigation Department and Security Command. Officers of Police Coast Guard Special Task Squadron are issued with Glock 19 semi-automatic pistol, and Special Tactics and Rescue acquired the Swiss-made Sphinx 3000 pistol, replacing the previous used Glock pistols. Addition to the use of the handguns, Singapore Police Force also uses the Heckler and Koch MP5 submachine gun and the Remington 870 shotgun, while specialized weapons are issued to the STAR, such as the G36C, M4A1, SAR-21 rifles and a variegated arsenal of sniper rifles. Equipment. The primary communication tool carried by each officer is through a common digital radio set used by home team organizations. In the first half of the 21st century, this was provided by Matra Nautal Communications EADS based on Tetrapol technology. In 2013, a contract was awarded to Motorola Communications for a replacement communication network using TETRA technology, with the first units being deployed in 2015. Whereas for secondary communication, officers are given the option to utilize the mobile data terminal or their personal-issued personal digital assistant, also known as Cubicon-2, in which real-time information can be communicated between the officer and command center or ops room. Strict enforcement of anti-arm laws, which are in existence in Singapore since 1823, has resulted in a relatively disarmed society, where firearms-related crimes are rare. It is therefore not an operational requirement for police officers to wear bulletproof vests when conducting normal policing duties. However, these vests are carried in police vehicles and stocked in police establishments and can be rapidly utilized should the situation require it. From 2004, new multi-purpose vests were introduced which offer officers protection against most handgun fire, knife thrusts, as well as doubling up as a buoyancy vest should officers fall into deep water. Vehicles. Land Division officers typically respond to calls in rapid deployment vehicles known as the Fast Response Car. The SPF have been staunch users of Japanese-made saloon cars since the 1980s for patrol duties, with the mainstay models in use being the various generations of the Mitsubishi Lancers, Mazda 323s and Toyota Corollas. At the turn of the century they have also included Nissan Sunnies, Subaru Impreza 1.6 TS sedans. In 2012 the traffic police have included the Volvo S80 T5. All FRCs carry a large array of equipment to allow officers to conduct normal policing duties and basic investigative work which officers are expected to perform with the implementation of the Neighborhood Police Center system. A typical FRC vehicle may therefore stock equipment for the force opening of locked doors, conducting roadblocks, fingerprint collection, and the provision of first aid. On top of these, chemical agent protection equipment, police shields and bulletproof vests are also carried for the officers' protection. In 2002, the Enhanced Patrol Vehicle Project was unveiled at the SPF's annual Work Plan Seminar to highlight the need for off-road capability. The Volvo V70 AWDXE, Mitsubishi Space Wagon and Mitsubishi Chariot underwent evaluation in various NPCs. Eventually, all NPCs were to have at least 3 of such vehicles, but the project was met with skepticism by some of the public, stating that the police need not use such luxurious vehicles for police patrols. In 2004, the new fast response vehicle was introduced, consisting of cheaper modified Toyota Hilux sport utility vehicles. These vehicles utilize diesel power which provide greater ability to endure high usage on the roads over extensive periods of time. Their bigger storage space also allows for easier storage and retrieval of equipment. Other vehicles typically used in NPCs include the scooters and vans. Bicycles, although currently less seen, are still used by Land Division officers belonging to the Community Policing Unit occasionally, particularly when conducting routine patrols in large, sprawling private housing estates. At NDP 2007, the Singapore Police Force unveiled a Tenix S600 APC had been purchased for its operations for the Special Operations Command, and in NDP 2015. The Akliatna HMV Survivor and the Gurkha MPV Bitaradine Armoured Vehicles Incorporated was unveiled. For weaponry, equipment and vehicles of the various specialist forces, please see their respective pages for details. SPF Police Vehicles. Auxiliary Police Forces. In Singapore, auxiliary police officers are security police appointed under Section 92(1) or of the Police Force Act 2004 and are vested with all the power, protection and immunities of a police officer of corresponding rank and are licensed to carry firearms when carrying out their duties. These armed auxiliary police officers are full-time paid employees of their respective companies, and are not directly affiliated to the Singapore Police Force. They are appointed as auxiliary police officers only after attending and passing a residential course, the curriculum of which is set by the Security Industry Regulatory Department of the Singapore Police Force. Each APO is issued with a warrant card signed by the Commissioner of Police of the Singapore Police Force. Ito's Security Management Private Limited Certis Cisco Security Private Limited, the oldest and largest auxiliary. Singapore Airport Terminal Services Auxiliary Police Force. There were also other auxiliary police forces in Singapore in the early years such as PSA Police, and Bickham Auxiliary Police. These APF were granted licenses and powers under the Police Force Act to operate only in restricted geographical areas, for example in the ports or airports or Pulau Bickham Island. The Singapore Police Force established the Security Industry Regulatory Department in 2004 to regulate the security industry. More recently, due to the shortage of officers from the SPF, the role of auxiliary police forces have been expanded to enforcement, attending to road-related incidents such as collision scenes and conducting patrol duties. Even at times working alongside the Singapore Police Force themselves. Defunct Assets. Units Old Police Academy, vacated in 2006, relocated to Old Awa Chu Kang Road as part of the Home Team Academy, leaving behind the Police National Service Provost Unit and Traffic Police Driving Test School. The accommodation barracks and training facilities of the Old Police Academy currently houses the training departments for all auxiliary police forces in Singapore. Geylang Police Division Defunct C Division Headquarters, closed and vacated in 2000, areas of responsibility was divided between A, F and G divisions. Station status, currently in use by Geylang NPC under GB Dock Police Division and by Public Transport Security Command. Topeo Police Division Defunct B Division Headquarters, closed and vacated in 1988, areas of responsibility was divided between E and F divisions. Station was refurbished and is currently in use by Security Command. Land divisions Beach Road Police Station, former site of A Division headquarters, vacated in 2000 and became South Beach, Singapore. It is also the former NCO Club, where it was closed in 1994. Tong Senator Street Police Station, former headquarters site of CAD, CID and VSC since 1994, vacated in 2001 and was transferred to the charge of SLA. Station status pending. Jukayat Police Station, former site of G Division headquarters, vacated in 1987 and was transferred to the charge of SLA, which in turn released the premises for use by private developers. Old Hill Street Police Station, vacated in 1980, this old police station and barracks was renovated in 1983 and became part of MCCY and MCI. Paya Lebar Police Station, former site of F Division headquarters, vacated in 1987, now became 2nd Division headquarters SCDF. Queenstown Police Station, former site of D Division headquarters, vacated in 1988, now became 1st Division headquarters SCDF. Orchard Police Station, former site of E Division headquarters, demolished in 1983, now became Ion Orchard and Orchard MRT Station. Old Tangling Police Station, former site of E Division headquarters, vacated in 2001, now became Interpol Global Complex. Taman Jurong Police Station, vacated in 1980 and demolished in 1988, the surrounding land at the site has been redeveloped as a HDB housing precinct. Ama Keng Neighborhood Police Post sited directly across the road from Ama Keng Chinese Temple in Lim Chu Kang, the station was closed and demolished in 1980, currently replaced by a military training area. Bukit Panjang Neighborhood Police Post, Pasir Panjang Neighborhood Police Post, closed and vacated in 1986 following the inauguration of Pasir Panjang NPP and West Coast NPP. Demolished in 1991. The surrounding land at site was redeveloped as a private condominium, the Spectrum. Woodlands Neighborhood Police Post, closed in 1999, Woodlands Neighborhood Police Center has since taken over its duty. Kranji Neighborhood Police Post, closed and vacated in 1997 following the inauguration of UTNPP, building was demolished for land clearing to build factory. Police Coast Guard Kalang Regional Base, vacated in 2007, relocated to Brani Regional Base at Pulau Brani, status pending. Jurong Regional Base, vacated in 1999, relocated to Gull Regional Base, base was demolished to make way for the Jurong Island Highway. Pulau Sakang Police Post, closed and vacated in 1987 after the last islander left. The island was subsumed by the land reclamation process of the nearby Pulau Semakau. The Semakau landfill receiving station was built on top of the island after the reclamation process. Seletar Regional Base, vacated in 2005, relocated to Loyang Regional Base, base was demolished to make way for the Seletar Aerospace Park. Popular media works related to SPF. Books, In the Service of the Nation, 1985, 999, True Cases from the CID, 1987, Service to the Nation, 50 Years of the Volunteer Special Constabulary, 1998, Policing Singapore in the 19th and 20th Centuries, 2002, Justice is Done, 2005, The Adventures of Constable Akai, 1987, a series of crime stories, based on actual crimes from police files were compiled into storybooks from the popular children's magazine Young Generation, about the adventures of a fictional policeman named Constable Akai. They were written by officers from the Crime Prevention Department to instill crime awareness in children during the 80s through to the mid-90s. The other books in this series are as below: More Adventures of Constable Akai, 1989, Constable Akai Fights Crime, 1996, novels, Operation Firestorm, 1997, periodicals, Singapore Police Magazine, Police Life, 1971 to present, Police Life Annual, television programs, documentary, Crime Watch, 1986, Current, True Files, 2002 Euro 2007. Drama Series, Cellar to Robbery, 1982, CID 83, 1983, First Step, 1986, On Women in the Police Force, Patrol, 1989, A Take on the Lives of the Men in the Traffic Police Department, Crime and Passion, 1991, 999, 1995 to 1998, On the Adventures of a CID Team. Secret Files, 1995, The Shadow Mission, 1995, The Dragons 5, 1995, City Cops, 1996, Of Cops and Men, 1996, Pursuit of Justice, 1997, Act 235, 1998, Dare to Strike, November 14, 2000, the phrase Dare to Strike is the motto of the Central Narcotics Bureau. The Reunion, December 26, 2001, Heartlanders, 2002 to 2005, on two neighborhood police center officers, True Heroes, May 5, 2003, on a rookie neighborhood police center officer, The Frontline, 2003. This fictional six-part TV show depicts how Singaporeans cope after the German mastermind of a neo-anarchist organization sets off a bomb at a naval base as an anti-imperialistic statement against Singapore's ties with the United States. It showcases the capabilities of the Singapore Police Force and the Singapore Armed Forces to deal with terrorism. Many technologies introduced in this series has never been before shown to the public. It is also the only local television series to date to accurately depict the police's elite special tactics and rescue team and the Army's Special Operations Forces, although the latter unit was never addressed by name in the show. They were instead referred to as the Commandos. When the Time Comes, 2004, The Crime Hunters, 2004, Police and Thief, 2004 Euro 2010, Lifeline, 2005 Euro 2007, Zero to Hero, 2005, Without Warning, 2006, CID, June 12, 2006, Metamorphosis, September 18, 2007, Crime Busters X2, September 30, 2008, Unriddle, 2010, Vitae, Pledged to Hunt, November 23, 2010-March 30, 2011, CLIF, 2011, first drama to be produced in close collaboration with the Singapore Police Force. The second and third seasons were aired in 2013 and 2014 respectively. Unriddle 2, 2012, Vitae 2.0 The Next Generation, January 4, 2012-May 11, 2013, Vitae 3, The Final Judgment, November 17, 2014 A Euro Present. Movies, The Last Blood, 1991, Ace Cops, 1996, Telemovie, Life on the Line, 1996, Telemovie, 2000 AD, 1999, After School, 2004, a film released by the National Crime Prevention Council to harness the power of cinema as a public education tool to reach out to young Singaporeans and their families. See also, Project Griffin, Major Crimes in Singapore, Law Enforcement in Singapore, List of law enforcement agencies, Internal Security Department, Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau. References. Notes Bibliography External links, library resources in your library and in other libraries about Singapore Police Force, organization, recruitment, and training of police, public order and internal security, training the police, police-related Singapore news, Crossing the Generation Gap.